Nightwing. Out of the Bat's Shadow. If Batman were to admit being proud of someone, it would surely be Dick Grayson, his first sidekick and former ward. Like his mentor, Dick's crime-fighting career began in the wake of tragedy, but found a new purpose as a guardian of Gotham City. Unlike most kids, he did most of his learning as the partner of one of the world's greatest heroes, and became a powerful force for good in his own right. Then the child became a man, and no longer merely Batman's sidekick. Dick Grayson struck out on his own and became Nightwing, protector of his adoptive city of Bloodhaven. Dick Grayson's early childhood was spent in the circus. His parents, the Flying Graysons, were considered to be amongst the greatest acrobats of all time. Thousands of fans came to see them perform as they travelled North America, headlining the spectacle of Haley's Circus. Dick and his parents were a close-knit and loving family, totally relying on each other for safety during their performances. During the circus's one-night stop in Gotham City, gangster boss Zucco demanded protection money from the circus promoters. The promoters refused to pay, and Zucco and his mob reacted violently and ruthlessly, sabotaging the Flying Grayson's trapeze ropes so that Dick's parents fell to their deaths during their act, watched by their horrified son. Billionaire Bruce Wayne was in the circus audience that night and witnessed the tragedy. It all seemed sadly familiar to him. Like Dick, Bruce had seen his own parents killed in front of him as a young boy. Dick was then placed in a series of orphanages, where he seemed to spend all his time fighting for his position in the orphanage class system, hoping for some sense of normality to return to his life once more. Bruce Wayne couldn't forget the young lad who had seen his parents die at the circus. He understood only too well what the new orphan was feeling, and used his considerable influence as the richest man in Gotham to give Dick a stable environment in which to recover from his traumatic experience. Bruce soon adopted Dick as his ward, promising to give him something as close to a family life as possible. But family was not the only thing Bruce Wayne offered. Unbeknownst to Dick, Bruce was also secretly Batman, Gotham City's Dark Defender. Dick was still very young, yet he was obsessed with discovering the truth behind his parents' murders and bringing their killer to justice. He began sneaking out of Wayne Manor to investigate. On one early trip, he encountered Batman and discovered that the Dark Knight was also investigating the murder. Later, Dick found himself in the Batcave, shocked to discover that Batman was actually Bruce Wayne, his new mentor. The two new friends worked together to expose Boss Zucco's role in the Grayson murders, but Zucco apparently died of a heart attack before being brought to justice. Bruce was impressed with his young ward's passion and commitment, as well as his superior acrobatic skills. Seeing much of himself in the youngster, Bruce decided to train Dick to eventually become Batman's sidekick. A grueling training regime taught Dick martial arts and other fighting techniques, along with detective and forensic skills. After 6 months, Bruce Wayne gave Dick one more challenge: elude capture by Batman in Gotham City. Dick quickly passed this final test with impressive ease. Batman was certain his young ward was now ready to become his sidekick. He gave Dick a uniform inspired by the costumes worn by the Flying Graysons, and asked the boy what his code name should be. Dick chose Robin. In honour of his mother, he used to call him her Little Robin, since he had been born on the first day of spring. Dick's colourful attire reflected his positive attitude. He loved being an acrobat and hero, and was often smiling and laughing as he worked alongside Batman, a stark contrast to the brooding Dark Knight. Batman and Robin became an inseparable team. They protected Gotham from the deadly and dangerous plots of numerous foes. However, a bad judgment call by Robin resulted in the villain Two-Face murdering a judge. Seeing his partner emotionally scarred by the event, a worried Batman fired Robin in order to keep him out of danger. Nonetheless, Dick continued to fight crime as Robin on his own, and later with a group of his fellow teenage heroes, the Teen Titans, of which he quickly became the leader. Dick was a young man now, in his late teens and preparing for college. Life was going well for the boy wonder. He was back working with Batman and was leading the Titans. He even enrolled in university. But all of that changed dramatically when Dick was shot in the shoulder by the Joker. Batman, once again terrified for his ward's safety, sidelined Robin as his partner. Undaunted, Robin focused his efforts on the Teen Titans, dropped out of college, and became a full-time hero. The falling out with Batman hurt Dick, yet he knew that he had to focus on his responsibilities as a Titan. Unsure of what his future held, Dick turned to another mentor and friend for advice, Superman. The Man of Steel counseled the boy wonder, advising him to find his own path. Superman told Robin of an ancient Kryptonian legend of a man who had been cast out of his family, much like Dick had been by Bruce, and moved on to fight for justice and the peace on Krypton. The Kryptonian's name was Nightwing. Dick liked the story and decided to take the name as his own. Wearing a new, darker uniform, inspired by another of his late father's circus costumes, Dick Grayson finally stopped being Robin, the boy wonder, and became Nightwing, the newest defender of Gotham City and leader of the Teen Titans. Dick wholeheartedly embraced his new role as Nightwing. As a Teen Titan, he had finally come into his own. He also had a deep romantic relationship with fellow Titan Starfire. The two were even engaged to be married, but their relationship came to an unexpected end when political reasons forced Starfire to marry a member of royalty from her home planet. Dick was devastated to lose the love of his life. Losing Starfire wasn't the only emotional challenge that plagued Nightwing during this period. Dick eventually learned that Bruce was training a new Robin, the impulsive Jason Todd. Dick knew that he had surrendered the mantle of Robin when he became Nightwing, but he was a little hurt that Batman had replaced him so quickly. His relationship with Bruce Wayne was still strained, and Dick again felt alone in the world. Despite these personal struggles, Nightwing continued to lead the Teen Titans and fight crime on his own. He even rescued his fellow Titans from the hands of Deathstroke the Terminator, who had become one of Nightwing's greatest adversaries. The tensions between Batman and Nightwing increased when Dick discovered that his parents' killer, Boss Zucco, had not actually died of a heart attack, but had been languishing in prison all this time. Eventually paroled for good behavior, Zucco returned to society. Nightwing sought to avenge his parents' murders and went after Zucco, but before he could do anything, he'd found out that Zucco had been killed by a rival gangster. Nightwing's reactions were mixed. On the one hand, he was glad that justice had finally been meted out against Zucco, but on the other, he resented that Batman had been lying to him for years about Zucco's fate. Batman confessed that he simply wanted to protect Dick from doing something he'd later regret. Sadly, the two friends found an even greater gulf growing between them. Their relationship became even further strained when Jason Todd, the new Robin, was brutally killed by the Joker. Nightwing had become his own man. He continued to lead the Titans, but was finding more success as his own hero. He had finally stepped out of Batman's shadow. Dick felt that his time with the Titans was drawing to a close, partly because he was undertaking more successful solo missions. His on-and-off-again relationship with Starfire reached another low point, leading the Temerian princess to leave Earth and return to her homeworld. After a disastrous mission by the Titans, the American government stepped into the group and removed Dick from his leadership position, replacing him with Roy Harper, the former sidekick to Green Arrow. Nightwing was one day confronted by an impetuous young man named Tim Drake, who had figured out Batman's secret identity, and thereby Nightwing's as well. Tim had met Dick years earlier, when his family saw the Flying Graysons in action at the circus, and since that day, Tim had looked up to Dick. Tim felt very strongly that Batman needed a Robin, and begged Dick to return to that role. Dick refused, but helped Tim convince Batman to take the boy on as his newest sidekick. A short time later, Batman was critically injured at the hands of the monster Bane, and temporarily turned over the mantle of the Batman to Jean Paul Valley, a hero also known as Azrael. Dick was hurt that Bruce chose Jean Paul over him, especially when Azrael's time as Batman turned violent and highly controversial. Robin and Nightwing found themselves at odds with the new Batman, and teamed up to stop his reign of terror in Gotham. This helped Tim and Dick build a strong friendship that continued for years afterwards. When Batman recovered from his injuries, he told Dick that he had not chosen him to fill in for Batman because he believed that Dick had become too much his own man and didn't want to force the stigma of Batman on him. Bruce also told him that he was proud of everything Dick had become. It was the first step in healing the strained relationship between them. Batman asked Nightwing to move to the city of Bloodhaven and help the law enforcement agencies there. The nearby port city had become riddled with crime, particularly warring gangs and organized crime families. Because of Bloodhaven's poor economic circumstances, violent acts were growing out of control. The people who lived there, Batman said, needed a protector. Dick agreed and shifted his focus from Gotham City to Bloodhaven. There he found that the gangsters were fighting constantly, and that the most powerful crime boss was a man named Blockbuster. Blockbuster had gone to great lengths to secure his superior power in Bloodhaven. He controlled almost all of the criminal activity in the city, either directly or indirectly, and even controlled the police force. By night, Dick battled gangs and other criminal elements in Bloodhaven as Nightwing. By day, he joined the police department to root out the corrupt officers and restore order to the city behind a badge, an endeavour with which he found some success. During this period, Dick fell in love with Barbara Gordon, now known as Oracle, the daughter of Gotham Police Commissioner James Gordon. Barbara had once been Batgirl, but had been paralysed years before when the Joker shot her. She and Dick had known each other for many years, and eventually fell in love. At one point, they were even engaged to be married, but the engagement was broken off when Barbara expressed concerns about her and Dick's readiness to be together forever. With another broken relationship to overcome, Dick refocused his efforts on fighting crime as Nightwing. He took on a leadership of another group of heroes, the Outsiders, but was soon to discover more heartbreak when fellow outsider and former Titan and best friend Donna Troy was killed in action. A few years later, however, he celebrated her miraculous resurrection. The Outsiders, and Nightwing in particular, became mentors to the new Robin, Tim Drake, as he followed in Dick's steps by becoming leader of a pair of superhero team, Young Justice, and later a new incarnation of the Teen Titans. Eventually, Nightwing left Bloodhaven to be replaced by Robin and the new Batgirl, Cassandra Cain. Tragically, however, while all three heroes were out of town on other missions, Bloodhaven was destroyed by a group of supervillains. Around a year later, Nightwing learned that a second Nightwing had been spotted in New York City. Dick investigated and learned that the new Nightwing was, incredibly, Jason Todd, the former Robin, who had been restored to life through a massive cosmic event. Inevitably, Jason and Dick fought for the Nightwing identity, with Dick winning the right to keep it. Dick and Bruce's relationship continued to grow stronger throughout this time, with the duo often teaming up as in days past. Nightwing turned the leadership of the Outsiders over to Batman, and later found himself reunited with Donna Troy, Starfire, and many other of his ex-Teen Titan colleagues in a newly formed group called simply Titans. Through the years, Dick Grayson has risen far above his tragic beginnings. As Robin, he was the archetype of a hero's sidekick, blazing a trail for all future sidekicks to follow. He learned his trade from the best in the business, but, when the time was right, was able to move out of his mentor's shadow and establish himself as Nightwing, one of the world's greatest heroes in his own right.